Just Easy English podcast. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Just Easy English, your friendly podcast for learning English naturally and enjoyably. I'm Connor, and I'm absolutely delighted to be your host today. For those who are new to our channel, Just Easy English is all about making English learning fun and accessible. We focus on three main areas: practical learning English tips that you can use every day, daily conversation practice to build your speaking confidence, and learn through stories, which is exactly what we're doing today. Now, this podcast is designed primarily for intermediate learners. That's around A2 to B1 level. But here's the great news. Even if you're a beginner, you can absolutely follow along. I speak slowly and clearly, so you can practice your listening skills at a comfortable pace. All right, we're diving into a captivating story called The Secret of Moonlight High. Get ready for a story filled with romance, mystery, and just a touch of the supernatural. All the ingredients to keep you engaged while you learn. But before we begin, let me tell you how this episode works. First, I'll read you the complete story. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just enjoy the adventure. After the story, we'll break down some important vocabulary together. And finally, we'll explore some discussion questions that will help you practice your speaking skills. Remember, learning English should be fun, so grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's begin this amazing journey to Moonlight Falls, where nothing is quite what it seems. Our story begins with a girl named Emma Miller, who is starting a new life in a very unusual town. Chapter 1: A New Beginning. Emma Miller looked out of the car window as her father drove through the small town of Moonlight Falls. The trees were tall and dark, and thick clouds covered the sky. It was very different from sunny California, where she used to live. "Are you excited about your new school?" her father asked, trying to sound cheerful. Emma smiled weakly. "I guess so, Dad. It's just, everything is so different here. I know it's hard, sweetheart, but this job is important for our family. And who knows, maybe you'll love it here." Emma wasn't so sure. She missed her friends, the warm weather, and her old life. But her father had lost his job in California, and when he got an offer to work as a doctor in this small town, they had no choice but to move. The next morning, Emma walked into Moonlight High School. The building was old but beautiful, with large windows and stone walls covered in green plants. Students were talking in small groups, and Emma felt nervous. She didn't know anyone here. "You must be the new student," said a friendly voice behind her. Emma turned around and saw a girl with short brown hair and a warm smile. "I'm Sarah Chen," the girl said. "I heard we were getting someone new from California. I'm so excited to meet you." "I'm Emma Miller," Emma replied, feeling a little better. "Nice to meet you. Come on, I'll show you around. Moonlight High isn't very big, so you'll learn your way quickly." As Sarah showed her the school, Emma noticed that students seemed to belong to different groups. There were the athletes, the artists, the smart kids, and then there was a group that sat alone in the corner of the cafeteria. "Who are they?" Emma asked, pointing to a table where 5 incredibly beautiful students sat together. Sarah followed her eyes, and her expression changed. Oh, those are the Blackwood family. They're different. Different how? Well, they're all adopted by Dr. Blackwood and his wife. They moved here about 2 years ago. They're all really smart and beautiful, but they keep to themselves. They don't really talk to other students. Emma looked at the group more carefully. There were 3 boys and 2 girls, all with pale skin and perfect features. But one of them caught her attention more than the others. He had dark hair and golden eyes, and when he looked up, their eyes met for a moment. Emma felt her heart skip a beat. "That's Adrian Blackwood," Sarah said quietly. "He's well. Every girl in school thinks he's gorgeous, but he's never shown interest in anyone. He's kind of mysterious." Emma couldn't look away from Adrian. There was something about him that was both attractive and dangerous. Chapter 2. Strange Encounters. The next few days at Moonlight High were better than Emma expected. Sarah introduced her to more friends, and she began to feel more comfortable. But she couldn't stop thinking about Adrian Blackwood. In biology class, Emma was surprised when the teacher, Mr. Wilson, said, "Emma, you'll be working with Adrian on the next project." Emma's heart started beating faster as Adrian moved to sit next to her, up close. He was even more beautiful than she had thought. His skin was perfect, almost like marble, and his golden eyes seemed to see right through her. "Hello, Emma," he said in a voice that was soft but somehow musical. "Hi," she managed to say, trying not to sound nervous. They worked together on their project about blood types. Emma noticed that Adrian seemed uncomfortable when they talked about blood. His hands were ice cold when they accidentally touched, and he seemed to hold his breath around her. "Are you feeling okay?" Emma asked. "You seem tense." Adrian's jaw tightened. "I'm fine. Maybe we should finish this another time." Before Emma could answer, he gathered his books and left the classroom quickly, leaving Emma confused and a little hurt. That afternoon, as Emma walked to her car in the school parking lot, she heard voices arguing behind the building. "You can't keep doing this, Adrian." It was a girl's voice, one of the Blackwood family. "I know what I'm doing, Luna," Adrian's voice replied, sounding frustrated. "No, you don't. She's dangerous for you, for all of us. If you lose control—" "I won't lose control. You can't be sure. Remember what happened in Alaska. We had to leave because—" Emma moved closer, trying to hear better, but she stepped on a branch. The sound was loud in the quiet afternoon. Suddenly, Adrian appeared in front of her, moving faster than should be possible. "Emma," he said, his golden eyes intense. "How long have you been standing there?" I just got here," she lied, her heart pounding. "I was looking for my car keys." Adrian studied her face carefully, as if trying to decide whether to believe her. Finally, he stepped back. "You should be careful walking alone," he said. "This town can be dangerous." Chapter 3. The Truth Revealed. Over the next few weeks, Emma noticed more strange things about Adrian and his family. They never ate in the cafeteria. They were incredibly strong. She saw Adrian stop a car with his bare hands when it almost hit another student. And sometimes Their eyes seemed to change color from golden to black. Emma also noticed that Adrian seemed to be fighting some kind of internal battle around her. Sometimes he would be kind and talk to her, but other times he would ignore her completely or seem angry for no reason. One rainy afternoon, Emma was walking home from school when a group of men from the town started following her. They had been drinking and were making uncomfortable comments. "Hey, pretty girl," one of them called. "Why don't you come with us?" Emma walked faster, but they followed her. She was getting scared when suddenly Adrian appeared. "Leave her alone," he said in a voice that was quiet but full of danger. The men looked at Adrian. He seemed calm, but there was something about him that made them step back. "We were just talking to the girl," one of them said, but they all walked away quickly. Emma was shaking. "Thank you," she said. "How did you get here so fast?" "I didn't see your car." Adrian looked at her for a long moment. "I was nearby." "Adrian, what's going on? There's something different about you and your family. I've noticed things." "What kind of things?" His voice was careful. "You're incredibly strong. You move faster than anyone I've ever seen. Your skin is always cold. And your eyes, they change color." Adrian closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Emma, you should stay away from me. I'm not good for you." "Why? What are you so afraid of?" "I'm afraid of hurting you," he said quietly. "You don't understand what I am." "Then tell me." Adrian looked at her with pain in his golden eyes. "I'm a vampire, Emma. My whole family. We're vampires." Emma stared at him. "That's impossible. Vampires aren't real." "We are real. We've been alive for over 100 years. We drink blood to survive, although my family chooses to hunt animals instead of humans. We're faster and stronger than humans, and we never age." Emma felt dizzy. "This is crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. And that's why you need to stay away from me. Every day, I fight the urge to drink your blood. You smell so good to me, Emma. It's torture being near you, but you've never hurt me. Not yet, but I might lose control. I care about you too much to risk that." Emma looked into his eyes and saw that he was telling the truth. Part of her wanted to run away, but another part of her felt drawn to him even more. "I'm not afraid of you, Adrian," she said softly. "You should be." Chapter 4. Love and Danger. Despite Adrian's warnings, Emma couldn't stay away from him. They began spending more time together, and Adrian told her about his life as a vampire. He had been changed when he was 17 years old. Over a century ago, Dr. Blackwood had found him and made him part of his family of vampires who chose not to hurt humans. "We call ourselves vegetarian vampires," Adrian explained one day as they sat by the river outside town. "We only drink animal blood. It's not as satisfying, but it allows us to live among humans." "Doesn't it make you weak?" Emma asked. "A little. Our eyes turn golden when we drink animal blood, but they turn red when vampires drink human blood. That's how you can tell the difference." Emma was fascinated by Adrian's world, but she also learned about the dangers. There were other vampires who weren't as kind as Adrian's family, vampires who saw humans only as food. One evening, as Emma was walking home late from the library, she felt like someone was watching her. She turned around but saw nothing. Then she heard a voice behind her. Well, well, what do we have here? Emma spun around and saw a man with pale skin, red eyes, and a cruel smile. He was definitely not human. You smell delicious, the vampire said, moving closer. Much better than the animals the Blackwoods seemed to prefer. Emma tried to run, but the vampire was faster. He grabbed her arm. With incredible strength. Please, Emma said, trying not to show how scared she was. Don't worry. It will be over quickly. Suddenly, Adrian appeared. His eyes were black with anger, and he looked more dangerous than Emma had ever seen him. Let her go, Marcus, Adrian said in a voice full of ice. The vampire named Marcos smiled. Adrian Blackwood. I wondered when you would show up. Is this your human pet? She's under my protection. Leave now or face the consequences. Margot laughed. You and what army? You've gone soft, drinking animal blood. You're not as strong as you used to be. Try me. What happened next was too fast for Emma to follow clearly. Adrian and Marco fought with incredible speed and strength. They moved like lightning, crashing into trees and rocks. Finally, Adrian managed to throw Marco far into the forest. This isn't over, Blackwood, Marco shouted before disappearing into the darkness. Adrian turned to Emma, who was shaking. Are you hurt? No, I'm okay. But Adrian, your eyes. Adrian's eyes were still black, and Emma could see that he was struggling with something. I need you to stay back, he said, his voice tight with control. The fight, the smell of your blood, it's making it hard to control myself. Emma could see a small cut on her arm, where Marco had grabbed her. She was bleeding a little, and she realized that Adrian was fighting his natural instincts. I trust you, she said softly, stepping closer instead of moving away. Emma, don't. She reached out and took his cold hand. I trust you, Adrian, slowly. The black color in Adrian's eyes faded back to golden. He pulled Emma into his arms, holding her gently. I could have lost you tonight, he whispered. But you didn't. You saved me. There will be others like Marco. Being with me puts you in danger. I don't care. I love you, Adrian. Adrian looked into her eyes with surprise and joy. I love you too, Emma. More than I ever thought possible. Chapter 5. A New Threat. Word spread quickly through the vampire community that Adrian Blackwood was in love with a human. This attracted attention that Adrian's family had hoped to avoid. Dr. Blackwood called a family meeting that evening. We may need to leave Moonlight Falls, he said seriously. Margot won't be the only one interested in Emma. Some vampires will see her as a threat to our secret. Others will want to use her to get to us. We can protect her, Adrian said firmly. Can we? What about when she grows old and dies, and you remain 17 forever? What about children? What kind of life can you offer her? These were questions Adrian had been avoiding, but now he had to face them. Emma, meanwhile, was dealing with her own problems. Her father had noticed that she was different lately, happier, but also more secretive. Emma, Is there a boy?" he asked one evening over dinner. "Maybe," Emma said, trying not to smile. "Is he a good student? Does he treat you well?" "He's very smart, Dad. And yes, he treats me well." What Emma didn't know was that her father had been hearing strange stories around town. People talked about the Blackwood family in whispers. Some said they never aged. Others claimed to have seen them doing impossible things. Dr. Miller was a man of science, but he was also a protective father. He decided to investigate the Blackwoods himself. One night, he followed Dr. Blackwood into the forest. What he saw changed everything he believed about the world. He watched Dr. Blackwood move with inhuman speed and strength, hunting a deer with abilities that no human could possess. The next morning, Dr. Miller confronted Emma. "Emma, we need to talk about Adrian Blackwood." "What about him, Dad?" "I think he and his family are dangerous. I want you to stay away from them." "Dad, you don't understand." "I understand more than you think, Emma. There are things about this family that aren't normal, things that could put you in danger." Emma realized that her father had discovered something about the Blackwoods. She had to make a choice: obey her father and lose Adrian forever, or trust in their love and fight for their relationship. "Dad, I know this is hard to believe, but Adrian would never hurt me. He loves me, and I love him. Love isn't always enough to keep you safe, Emma." Chapter 6: The Final Choice. The situation became more complicated when more vampires arrived in Moonlight Falls. They had come to investigate the Blackwood family and their relationship with humans. The leader was an ancient vampire named Heather, who had the authority to decide whether the Blackwoods were breaking vampire law by being so close to humans. "You have attracted too much attention," Heather told Dr. Blackwood. "Humans are beginning to suspect what you are. This cannot continue. We have lived peacefully among humans for many years." Dr. Blackwood replied, "We have never revealed our secret or harmed anyone. But your son's relationship with the human girl has changed things. She knows what you are. She could tell others. She won't. You cannot be sure. I have two choices: kill the girl to protect our secret, or change her into one of us." Adrian stepped forward. "I will not let you hurt Emma. Then you must change her. Make her a vampire, or we will handle this situation ourselves." Adrian was horrified. He had never wanted to take Emma's human life away from her, but now it seemed like the only way to save her. That night, Adrian explained the situation to Emma. "They want me to become a vampire?" Emma asked, trying to understand. "It's the only way to keep you safe." "But Emma, you need to understand what this means. You would never age, but you would also never die. You could never have children. You would have to drink blood to survive. Your whole life would change forever." Emma thought about her father, her human life, her dreams for the future. "What do you want me to do?" she asked. "I want you to choose what makes you happy," Adrian said. "If you choose to become a vampire, we can be together forever. But if you choose to remain human, I will find a way to protect you, even if it means leaving Moonlight Falls." Emma looked into Adrian's golden eyes. She thought about all the adventures they could have together, all the time they would have. all the love they shared. "I want to be with you," she said finally. "Forever. Are you sure? Once this happens, there's no going back." "I'm sure. I love you, Adrian. I want to spend eternity with you." Adrian held her close. "Then we'll face whatever comes together. A new life." The change was not easy. Emma had to die as a human to be reborn as a vampire. For 3 days, she felt like fire was burning through her veins as the vampire venom changed her body. When she woke up, everything was different. Colors were brighter, sounds were clearer, and she could hear Adrian's heart beating in the next room, even though she knew vampires didn't really have heartbeats. "How do you feel?" Adrian asked when she opened her eyes. Emma sat up and looked at her hands. Her skin was pale and perfect, like marble. She felt incredibly strong and fast. "Different," she said, and her voice sounded like music. "But good. I feel powerful." Adrian smiled. "You are powerful and beautiful. Even more beautiful than before, if that's possible." Emma's father had been told that she had died in an accident. It was the hardest part of her transformation, knowing that she could never see him again as his daughter. But Dr. Blackwood promised that they would watch over him from a distance and make sure he was safe and happy. Heather and the other vampires left Moonlight Falls, satisfied that the secret was safe. Emma learned to control her new abilities and to hunt animals instead of humans, just like Adrian's family. Years passed, but Emma and Adrian remained 17 forever. They traveled the world together, learning about different cultures and helping other vampires choose a peaceful life. Sometimes Emma missed her human life, but she never regretted her choice. She had love that would last forever, and adventures that most people could never imagine. One evening, as they watched the sunset from a mountain top in Europe, Adrian took Emma's hand. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. Emma smiled and looked into his golden eyes, eyes that matched her own now. "Never," she said. "This is the life I chose, and I chose it with you. That's all that matters." They had found their happily ever after, even if it wasn't the one either of them had originally planned. And in the small town of Moonlight Falls, people still tell stories about the mysterious Blackwood family and the girl who disappeared one night, never to be seen again. But sometimes, on quiet evenings, locals claim they can see two figures dancing in the moonlight in the forest, young and beautiful and eternal, lost in a love that will never end. Just Easy English Podcast. Vocabulary learning. Let's explore some important words and phrases from today's story. Vampire, meaning a mythical creature that drinks blood to survive and is often considered immortal. Example: in the story, Marcus is a vampire who has lived for hundreds of years. Transform, meaning to become completely different in appearance, form, or character. Example: the bite will transform Sarah from a human into a vampire within 24 hours. Eternal, meaning lasting forever, having no beginning or end. We use it as an adjective to describe something that continues indefinitely. Example: vampires are cursed with eternal life. They can never die naturally. Mysterious, meaning strange, unknown, or difficult to understand or explain. We use it to describe people, places, or situations that are puzzling. Example: there's something mysterious about the new student. He never eats lunch and avoids sunlight. Supernatural, meaning beyond the natural world, involving magic, ghosts, or other unexplainable forces. We use it to describe phenomena that cannot be explained by science. Example: the school has supernatural occurrences every full moon. Instincts, meaning natural behaviors or reactions that you don't need to learn or think about. We use it to describe automatic responses or gut feelings. Example: his vampire instincts told him to hunt for blood, but he fought against them. Consequences, meaning the results or effects that happen because of a particular action or decision. We use to talk about outcomes, often negative ones. Example: she didn't think about the consequences of falling in love with a vampire. Ancient, meaning very old, from a time long ago in history. We use it to describe things that are extremely old or from past civilizations. Example: the vampire family follows ancient traditions that are thousands of years old. Venom, meaning poison produced by certain animals, in this story, the substance that changes humans into vampires. We use it to talk about toxic substances, often from snake bites or, in fantasy, vampire bites. Example: the vampire's venom flowed through her veins, beginning her transformation. Skip a beat, meaning when your heart suddenly beats irregularly because you feel excited, nervous, or surprised. We use it to describe strong emotional reactions, usually romantic or frightening moments. Example: her heart skipped a beat when Marcus looked into her eyes with his mysterious smile. Keep to themselves, meaning to stay separate from others, to be private and not socialize much. We use it to describe people or groups who prefer isolation or privacy. Example: the vampire family keeps to themselves. They never attend school events or talk to other students. Lose control, meaning to not be able to stop yourself from doing something, to act without self-discipline. We use it when someone cannot manage their emotions, actions, or impulses. Example: during the full moon, young vampires often lose control and reveal their true nature. No going back, meaning a situation where you cannot change your decision or return to how things were before. We use it to emphasize that a choice or change is permanent and irreversible. Example: once the transformation is complete, there's no going back to being human again. Interactive section introduction. This is where the real magic happens. I'm going to ask you some questions about our story, The Secret of Moonlight High. But here's what makes this special. I want you to pause the video after each question. Think about your answer and say it out loud. Yes, out loud. After you give your answer, I'll share what I think, and we can compare our thoughts. This isn't just about right or wrong. It's about building your confidence to express ideas in English. Ready? Let's dive into our comprehension challenge. Remember to pause, think, speak, then continue. Your future fluent self will thank you for this practice. Question number 1. Who is Adrian And what makes him different from other students at Moonlight High? Take your time. Think about what we learned about his background and his mysterious behavior. Great! Adrian is a vampire who comes from an ancient vampire family. He's different because he has supernatural abilities, avoids sunlight, and struggles with his vampire instincts while trying to live among humans. Question number 2. What difficult choice does Emma have to make? And what are the consequences? Emma must choose between staying human and losing Adrian, or accepting the transformation to become a vampire. If she chooses transformation, the consequences are eternal life, leaving her family behind and adapting to a completely different existence. Question number 3. What do you think this story teaches us about love and sacrifice? The story shows that true love sometimes requires great sacrifice. Both Adrian and Emma had to give up parts of their old lives. Adrian had to risk revealing his secret, and Emma had to choose between her human life and love. It teaches us that meaningful relationships often involve difficult choices and accepting changes. And that brings us to the end of today's story, The Secret of Moonlight High. I hope you enjoyed this mysterious journey as much as I did. And here's my personal recommendation: save this video and return to it in a few days. Each time you listen, you'll discover something new. Maybe a word you missed, an expression that suddenly makes sense, or a plot detail that connects differently. Before we wrap up, I want to hear your thoughts about today's story. Here are some questions to get you thinking. What did you think about the ending? And if you were the main character, what would you have done differently? Don't be shy. I want you to practice your English by sharing your answers in the comments below. Write in English. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, making mistakes is part of learning, and I love reading all your creative responses. Your comments help me understand what stories you enjoy most, and they also help create a wonderful learning community where we can all support each other's English journey. So please, take a moment right now to leave a comment. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or even suggest what kind of story you'd like to hear next time. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe for more English learning adventures. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of Just Easy English. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying English. Goodbye for now.